I don't worry. I tell you, I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago. And I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Hey, check it out. This is your boy L7. Now, oh my goodness, we're here today at the tag meeting. Everybody's agreed to record, so we just hit record. We do have Lisa here. We have Mark here. And Nick, Brana, and Jerry here. Oh my goodness, yeah? So we know a lot of our people who part of the tag group are, used to be Tulsi supporters. Also, there's some crossover that I've been speaking recently with Yang people, and I've been speaking with different groups as well. MPP, Movement for People's Party, is definitely a group that I've definitely kind of thrown my head in with personally. And we have we have two of the top members right here. I'm amazed, yeah. So, yeah, welcome to the Taking Action Group.
Welcome. This is Lisa from the West Coast, and as you know, we are basically have a series in which we connect with other activists. In addition, basically what we are, the TAG group, the Taking Action Group, are a collection and a network of activists from all over the U.S., basically promoting other activists and basically their actions and trying to get our groups together.
Yeah.
So we can get
actually, I have a question for Nick right now, right? So for people
thanks
who are
for inviting us too.
Absolutely. So people that are basically previously Tulsi supporters, which is most of I say this a large portion of our audience, why is MPP right for them?
Because we need a major new party at this point, and Tulsi really embodied the kind of party that we want to build. A party that stands to unite the working class. Tulsi had appeal across, the whole political spectrum, the whole working class.
Yeah.
And that's, exactly what we're looking to do. Because we've tried to reform the Democrats for like decades now and for years, and it's been just a complete failure. There's another second rigged election now, against Bernie. And also we're like in the middle of a pandemic and a depression, and the only thing that the Democrats can bring themselves to do is to bail out Wall Street, and there's a majority of Americans calling for a major new party. So we think that instead of like trying to shore up an establishment party, we should instead embrace the majority of Americans who are like leaving the major two parties, the millions of people who are going independent, and we should join them in forming a new party, because it's not our role to protect the establishment parties. Our role is to actually achieve Medicare for all, get money out of politics, get free public college, raise taxes on the rich, end the endless wars like abroad. And we're never going to do that inside the Democratic Party because it just keeps getting worse, Okay. But Hillary Clinton was worse than Obama. Biden's worse than Hillary Clinton. So every 4 years the choice is worse, and we got to get out of this system.
So one thing that I really like, and one thing that I'm hoping that MPP can be a part of is, I've heard about some new different movements like Unite the Left. I've heard about some, that's one organization that I've heard of. I know Taking Action Group is trying to be a part of that. I'd like to see MPP becoming a leading force in terms of creating a coalition on the left and being a leader of telling all these other groups, look, these are the issue-based things that we want to attack right here, maybe such as income equality, maybe such as election integrity, right? Things like that, and get these things cleaned up. How can MPP be a leader in terms of getting the whole entire left to, instead of following this particular Democratic Party and believing they're going to be a savior, which they obviously are not. We can see they've been disappointing us for decades. It didn't just start now, okay? It's been decades of disappointment. So how can MPP be a leader in terms of coalescing, right? All the Yang Gang, the, Tulsi supporters, people that are still in our revolution that haven't jumped over, we can still fight on their behalf for similar goals.
And I'm going to piggyback on Ed's question to say basically people have been voting for these things, and then what happens basically is that the candidates sort of flip on them. So how do you think that MPP, and that's to go to you, Nick and Jerry, how do you think that MPP can sort of obviate the need to kind of like have this be continuing over and over again, and how we can, as activists, can vet our candidates within that system that you want to create?
Nick, do you mind if I go first on this?
Go for it.
Okay. First, I apologize if y'all can't hear me right now. I've got mace in my throat still, and got like a bit of frog throat from me playing so much yesterday. But to go from the very first question that you said, Ed, you don't have a party. Everyone that's a Tulsi supporter, you don't have a party. everyone that's a Yang ganger, you don't have a party. You don't have a party that actively puts a voice out for the representatives that are running for office. They pick and choose who they feel should be in office. There is no clear democracy being done in any party. The top chooses who you get to see. And that's one of the key reasons why Tulsi didn't get her message out, was because it was actively suppressed by both the party and by the corporate media. So now we need to freaking create one half of the solution to that problem and make a party for the people, everyone, and to ensure that we can restore our democracy here in the United States. And so I'm sorry. And then the second thing that you said, and going into the second question, if MPP can be a leader in this, MPP is not a leader. MPP is an organization that's going to help us build a new party. You are all leaders. And our goal here is to ensure that you have the knowledge, the freaking ability, the funding, and everything you need to be self-sustaining in order for you to run the party within your area, to ensure that you are a leader in your area. My goal and our goal is to ensure that you have all the skill sets moving forward to effectively combat this situation that we are currently in right now.
Well, I love that answer. Yeah. So it's truly a people's party. The thing is that the people have to step up. This party is for people that are willing to do a little bit more, that are willing to put in a little bit more work, that are willing to become organizers and step up their game. Is that what you're saying? We're not necessarily relying on an electoral savior?
If you come to me and you say, I would like to learn how to lead in my area, I will dedicate my time, I will dedicate my money, I will dedicate my health, as you can see, to ensure that you have that skill set. And that is what we're going to do here with Movement for a People's Party, and then eventually whatever this party becomes and whatever name we choose for it.
Cool.
I'll add to that this party needs to be different from what exists. We don't just need to create a new party, we need to redefine what a party is. The Democratic and the Republican parties, they don't really want you engaged. They don't really want you in the party. You know, they don't want you voting for leadership. They don't want you participating and making decisions on the platform. None of that is relevant. You know, you didn't vote for Tom Perez to be DNC chair. The leadership needs to be elected. That's what's going to be different. There's going to be accountability. There's going to be accountability to the platform. And there's going to be no corporate money, and there's going to be no mechanisms of influence into the party. No revolving door politicians or party officials. None of that. No taking of big money, corporate PAC money, super PAC money. All of that has to be done, because as long as you're doing that, you're accountable to the banks, you're accountable to the big donors, you're not accountable to the people.
That is, that's what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. That sounds wonderful. Now we need to get that message more out there, because I'm not sure everybody really understands this this particular message here. You know what I mean? I'm super excited about that, actually. I'm exactly that type to sign up for this type of organization. I want to rise to that call. Yeah? And I really wish to see that more people from the Tulsi group right here. Honestly, the Yang Gang, I see them as, whoa, who's this? I see a lot of people out there that are ready to make it happen. But, you know, in terms of the Tulsi group, I know there's another group called Tulsi 2024 that they have some organizers out there that are trying to make it happen. Right now, Yang Gang has like people who are supporting like Jonathan Herzog for Congress, things like that. But I think that, you know, Tulsi supports someone from South Carolina. I looked up his name. I think it was like Isaac Jeffries. I forgot the name exactly. But I don't see anybody going out to try to help this guy except for myself, like reaching out. So, you know, come on, Tulsi supporters. You know, Tulsi was a warrior. She was a fighter. She was in the armed forces. It's time for us to step up. It's time for us to stand our duty, to stand our ground, and to ensure a better future. That these guys are honestly, I'm inspired by the things you guys are saying. That's exactly what this country needs. That's in my God-felt opinion, man. You know, in my heart of hearts, man. Thank you so much.
We're the Tulsi we were the Tulsi Action Group. Now we're the Taking Action Group, but we're very action focused. So what are some of the first actions that you think that the party might get started with? And I would like to hear about the actions in order to actually make the party viable, and then the actions that you see after the party is viable.
Right, national meeting's this Thursday, right?
There's a meeting this Thursday? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have national calls every other Thursday where we talk about that. And actually, Lisa, we're going to announce a major action this Thursday that's going to be nationwide.
Yeah, and guys, go to the peoplesparty.org website. It's at the bottom of the screen right there. That's exactly where you guys got to go. sign up to be a volunteer. You're going to get all the information about like the upcoming meetings, stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. And so another thing that we're changing, because the Democrats, they demobilize people, you know, like Obama, he had Organizing for America, Obama for America, like millions of people who volunteered for him. After he won, he disbanded that because they don't want people active, you know, they don't want people like in the streets, of course. You know, during Occupy, he was doing what Trump is doing now. He was calling the protesters thugs, you know? And so what we've got to do is, you know, we've got to create a movement party, and that's what we're doing. Is like one of our 8 working groups is action nationally, and it's around planning like direct action, civil disobedience, and also like mutual aid, and actually getting in the streets and building relationships like with communities, like, you know, engaging, not just being like horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly one of the purposes of this channel and the Taking Action Group, to form a coalition and to get and to start meeting and talking with other, you know, ground-based and grassroots organizations to really build that infrastructure that we really need. So.
And the other thing that I just want to chime in with Ed is that Ed is in New York City, and I'm in Los Angeles, so it's like a you know, across from one coast to the other, and so we check in with each other because, you know, a lot of times we don't even get information about what's happening in each place. He doesn't know what's happening in LA. I tell him what's going on the ground. I don't know what's happening in New York City. He tells me what's going on the ground. We can hear what we get filtered through the news, but what's actually going on in the ground, a lot of people don't even know unless they're there. And I can see that's kind of happening with you all, since Nick, you're in Washington, D.C., and Jerry. I guess you can sort of see each what's on the ground, maybe even a little more politically. You can.
Yeah, we're everywhere. And I want to say something too, is that you know, Jerry went on Jimmy Dore and he said something that I think is so true. And he said that, you know, when the people lead, the leaders will follow. And, you know, like, I think that, you know, that like that's to say that when we move, you know, from the Democratic Party and from being independent, and we form a party that actually stands like for working people, then Bernie and Tulsi and AOC and Ilhan Omar, when they see that their movement has left them and has gone and formed a new party, they will join too.
Well, what do you have to say to the Yang Gang people? Because there's a good amount of Yang Gang people that are watching this channel as well. So why is this MPP right for them?
Because we're all outsiders. None of us is served by this system. You know, we're all cast out. I mean, Yang's ideas now have like taken off. Yang Gang's ideas have taken off of a universal basic income. In fact, it's even greater now in the pandemic. You know, 2,000 over 1,000, what people are talking about. You know, but the two parties are never going to implement that. When Trump suggested that we have a one-time stimulus check, not even a regular one, a one-time one, it was the Democrats that said, let's means test it, not make it universal. Yeah. Trump was the one saying it'd be universal.
Because they're too invested in the bureaucratic systems. They're too invested in the status quo. They understand that change could be beneficial for the whole country, but it doesn't benefit them personally. And it actually threatens their whole structure that's keeping them in place. So they actually cannot promote these actual real agents of change. They actually have to suppress it. That's exactly why we need someone like yourself. And I love Jerry and I love Nick's both idea of empowering the people. It's truly a people's party. Actually, I didn't even walk into this expecting that to happen. I thought it would be some type of electoral politics where we'd have some kind of electoral savior. I've been waiting, who's the MPP's candidate? But I realize now that the MPP's candidate is the people themselves. That's some real next level stuff. And oh my God, it's about time that happens for this country. But right now we live in a republic, we live in an electoral system, and you're right, like, you know, the power of the people can really make it so it's replaceable. So we don't have to rely on one person who can be corrupted or who's more, you know, we have like a strong society like backing them up. But what's the plans to, like, you know, interface these two different ideologies together to, you know, impact our current system? How can MPP help us today with our current issues?
All right. So this is the thing I want to identify first is, do you want a new party? If you want a new party, reach out to us. Let's start a hub in your area. Once we have a heart to start up, we're going to start training people. I'm going to start instilling our skill sets into you.
Yeah.
You'll be able teach others how to effectively organize, hold organizing meetings, tabling, flyering events, canvassing, phone banking, introduce you to all the systems, get through, VAN, Action Network, Nation Builder, teach you how to effectively use all of these systems,
Yeah,
and how to effectively coordinate within yourselves.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And next, start training people how to talk to people, how to talk to your neighbors, how to connect with people, and how to effectively spread your message, and how to take action with these messages in order to identify problems, create solutions, and implement those solutions to win the hearts and minds of the people and purge out this corruption within our area. So the first step right now, we gotta see who wants this. If you want to be a part of this, if you want to take the fight directly to both parties, then we need to set up the flag. We need to put up a hub in your area, let the whole area know this is where we're all conveying at, and this is where the discussion starts. So that's the very first step and what we're focusing on right now.
Okay.
After that, when the hubs are set up and trained, we're starting a pipeline. We're getting brand new people started. We're getting them trained up to transition from volunteer to effective organizer. And then we spread.
Yeah.
We go from city to city to city to city. And we talk to the people. We inform them about the problems. We inform them about the solutions. And we actively identify who in those areas are keeping those problems current.
Yeah.
And so
there's
that
actually
is how-
there's an onboarded meeting you guys have like every Thursday or something like that, right? Is that 8 p.m. Eastern? That's 8 p.m. Eastern time?
8:30.
8:30 Eastern Standard Time? Yeah. And to get to
That's
that,
right.
once again, everybody who wants to get involved with this stuff, who likes, my man Jerry over there is coughing because honestly, he was yesterday out there. He was on the front lines. You know, a lot of people who are involved with this movement have been on the front lines for decades. They've been putting in that work as activists. So when Jerry's talking about like teaching you guys how to do this activist work, he's not just coming in from like, you know, has a degree in this. He's, you know, got a degree from actually spending like time on the street. So he's got an actual street warriors knowledge of how to actually get things done. And
A lot of us were out in the streets last night as MPP. That's what we believe in. We've been encouraging members to do that. You know, I was out here in DC. Was caught in we were around the White House. And the National Guard, they actually brought the National Guard to push us back from the White House.
Wow.
And so I was caught in the tear gas too. So
Yikes,
I spent
okay.
last night trying to recover from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing is that we know that this is just a small step as in terms of like getting the whole entire, like, why do we do the protest? We do it because we want to affect change. And to affect change, we have to continuously, right, like something that a party can provide. We have to provide an infrastructure. We have to provide continual movement in one direction in order for us to get to our final goal. We can't just have one protest and then, you know, then we don't talk about it anymore and things continue the same. So, yeah, with the organizational background that you guys have, that's how you guys can turn your protests and actually get the policy changes that are necessary to make, you know, to create a better future. Because you can see that following the old systems, it's just getting worse and worse. It's not getting better. It's obviously getting worse. Yeah.
And
I got one thing to say about all that.
Mhm.
They think that the action is over because of everybody pulling out yesterday, and I'm here to tell you, oh no, we're not fucking done. We're not done. So, like Nick said, we are about to announce a national action this Thursday. So, to everyone that's watching this, is that it is about action and is about truly going up against the problem we have here. Listen in on that call on Thursday, because it is going to be big, and everyone will be involved in this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of special people there. Yeah. This is something that's been a growing movement. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about it. I've been seeing the excitement building, you know, just like in terms of the videos I've been making and just like we're on the street out here. You know, I think MPP is going to be something that could be really huge, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. Yeah. Thank you.
I wanted to ask a question for one of our members. He's a disability rights activist, and he's asking for you to please consider ballot access laws. Definitely that he knows that he feels that that may be part of vetting the candidates who are supporting certain positions is also basically how you build support and who you build support from. And we are kind of like, we have issues now with people being throttled, like our internet's being throttled, our internet's being slowed down. There are certain algorithms now when even when Ed and I are trying to basically communicate with our own group, and we have a pretty decent sized database, we're constantly throttled, or we're being told by some of our members that they haven't been receiving anything. So, but we have to understand that there is a certain population and a growing population of people with disabilities who have always had those issues and have constantly had those issues, and it's just going to get worse for them. So what is it, and I guess I'm speaking to the vote by mail access, also people helping to these people to vote. I'm asking, what kind of avenues is there any thinking ahead of time for that population as far as accessing them?
Like Mark has disabilities, so how are we going to reach out to the disabled community to make sure that they can vote and that their concerns are heard from the MPP?
Yeah.
Right. Jerry, did you want to start speaking from that?
Yeah, sure. Well, first, we're going to reach out to the disabled community, and we're going to see what their needs are and how best we can best accommodate them to ensure they can both participate and be a part of this.
Well, actually, Mark's right here. He's a huge disability advocate, yeah, and he's actually probably putting some stuff in the chat. So that's actually why we have the you can see at the bottom we have the captions turned on, so he can actually read what we're doing right now. So he may have some. Actually, that's kind of like why you brought him up, and he's probably saying some things right now. It's all good. Either way, yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're going to move forward with. And thank you, Mark, for being on here. And I have your contact information. Would you? I'll get in touch with you after this, and if you would like to help us with that, but we would most appreciate you being a part of this discussion, so we can better accommodate individuals that have disabilities to ensure that we are reaching out to them.
We need people like you, Mike, who are helping us do that in the most effective way.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. That makes me feel good. I appreciate that.
That's wonderful. This is a big issue. I'm also connected with the tech community out here in Los Angeles, and this is a huge issue within the tech community. Basically, access for all, and we can see that basically, getting cut off from communicating with other people, what a big deal it is. So, next question. Ed?
Oh, well, I'm good, actually. So, as terms of call to action, look, we need people to attend this meeting on Thursday. I really feel like MPP is a strong solution. What about Sandra and Karen? You guys have any? What about the chat? I see Mark saying just sent me something. You guys see anything in the chat right there? Now, just so you guys know, I'm actually attending with some other people. You might have heard of, I invited New Progressive Voice. I know a Big Talk, Little Talk should definitely be, he's also a Tulsi, he's a content producer. He makes videos. We're both going to be attending the national meeting, as well as a member from Yang Gang. And we're going to have a big panel discussion after the national meeting. We're all going to attend, and then we're going to talk about how MPP is a possible solution for us, and what we liked, what we didn't like, criticisms. And if you are also part of another organization and you want to get in on that panel discussion about MPP afterwards, we'd love to have you. I know New Progressive Voice isn't necessarily, the biggest fan of third parties, but we want to hear from them too, right? We want to talk to everybody. But
Great, and I had a question to that, because one of the biggest questions from our group was basically, why start a third party? And I know that you've spoken
we've been
to that
fighting
before.
for years, and the Democrats suck.
But and I know that you've said this before, but they're saying that why don't you pick a party that's already established, basically, and work with that to build it? And I think that there's a really strong argument, because some of the strongest arguments are from the Greens. They feel that this is we've been already putting the work in. Why not just bolster up what they have? And I kind of want to speak to that and have you speak to that, because this is one of our biggest questions.
Well, I can go first. The Green Party is great, and it has led the way. It's been a torchbearer to where we are now. But unfortunately, in all these years and decades of existing, it's kind of It's picked up. It's seen now as being not viable. And so, unfortunately, we need something that is new, that has like a greater sense of possibility. That we can shape ourselves, that we can co-create. And this is actually how new parties have been more successful too in history. Like when the Republican Party, like for example, we didn't always have just the same two parties here in the U.S. We used to have the Whig Party and the Democratic Party, and
Yes.
the Republican Party in the 1850s replaced the Whig Party, and they replaced them from the left. And they did it because the Whig Party elites still supported slavery, but
Yes.
the base of the Whig Party was abolitionist. And so they formed a new party, the Republican Party, the left party at that time in the country, and they actually replaced the Whigs within like 4 to 6 years. And kind of the model for what had happened with the Green Party right now is that before the Republican Party came about, there had been other smaller parties that had also been abolitionist. They had been the Liberty Party, the Free Soil Party, but it took a new party that came about like right at the right time, and that actually pulled people out of one of the establishment parties in like big numbers, and that to actually replace and be the breakthrough party. So we think that the Green Party has like laid the groundwork for a breakthrough party, but it's going to take something that people think has like a greater sense of possibility right now than what like currently exists. And also what's really important, and one of the things that I feel like Tulsi and Yang really understood so well, is that we don't just need to reach out to like the left and to Democrats or progressives. We need to reach out to everyone, people who might consider themselves self-identify as conservative, or people who I don't know, they just consider themselves like in the middle. This is what they think of themselves. We need to include those people too. That's why it needs to be a people's party, because when you use things like sometimes the labels can turn people off. So we need to run on the issues of Medicare for all, getting people getting money out of politics, all those issues that we talked about, so many that Bernie ran on. That's what we need to build the coalition around, because the labels divide people, but the issues unite people.
Yeah. And you know what? Also, I think that there's something to be said for, at first, like, I wasn't really convinced by the whole, like, having a new party thing, right? Because I know, like, after a while, they'll be old. But just, like, I come from the music industry. And just the way that you could have someone come out, like a Robin Thicke, have, like, or, have, like, the song for the summer. Or you could have, like, like, another artist get big, you know what I mean? Like, right away. And all of a sudden drive people to make millions and millions of purchases of album sales, right? There's no reason why MPP couldn't get hot as a new person, right? Yeah, I'm used to the Green Party's old song and dance. Yeah, I've heard them for 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah, I've listened to that album so many times. But, oh, here's this new shiny artist, MPP. Oh, it kind of captured my imagination. Oh, this is like the hit right now. Bam. And all of a sudden they could get lucky. They could hit it with the right combination of factors, and bam, that magic can happen. And to tell you the truth, being involved, like, I was part of the Green Party because I saw the problems of the Democrat Party for so long, right? And I saw, like, that they were actually just what is it called? Controlled opposition? Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, they were always like the worst drawbacks were happening during Democratic, when they were in office. So, I would probably the Green Party for a long time, and I also am. I do have a little sense of excitement about something new, MPP. Like, yeah, it's hot, it's something different, it's new. So I do definitely see that appeal. In the end, there's nothing to say that we couldn't consolidate, come together, and fuse together, because we all have the same issues in mind. Nobody's saying this is the end of the line, you're this or you're that, you stay out. We're just saying, come work with us. We're good people. We want to help you with your issues, and there's nothing wrong with the new identity starting. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's and honestly, I've been so impressed by the way you guys do your organization, and by the way those meetings are run. Like, me and Lisa, like, oh my God, we were in the Tulsi campaign. Her slogan was, by the people, of the people, for the people. And I love Tulsi to death, you know what I mean? But as in terms of really the movement for People's Party, that's really the horizontal, what do you guys call it again? Horizontal decentralized leadership?
That's right.
Yeah, that is hot, man, and I love that. Honestly, the infiltration, the Bernie and the Tulsi campaigns and the Yang campaigns, I love you guys to death. You guys need to see how these people organize, because it is truly some next level stuff. And the Yang Gang, I'm really impressed. I'm in your guys' Slack too. I see what you guys are doing. You guys have a national board. You guys just had your elections. Congratulations to all the winners. I'm so impressed with what you guys are doing. That's actually why I left Tulsi, because the Yang Gang, I saw your infrastructure was so effective. Truly the power is in the people. But these MPP people have something really special, especially about the way their leadership is and the way that they're constructing the whole infrastructure. It needs to be studied, even if you're just a student of the game. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Exactly. So, and to that end, I'm going to ask another question from a big member of our group who's kind of well known. He was actually starting his own quote unquote party, but his party was a sort of non-party. Basically, he called it the Progressive Party, and what it is just sort of a party that pushes people to run as independents so they don't get hobbled by the party system. And especially in a place like California, where we are an open primary system, everyone runs against each other. And then if no one gets to over 50%, then the two top vote getters go for a runoff. So we just recently saw an election that Cenk Uygur ran in. He got only about 6.5% of the vote, but that was formerly held by someone who turned the district blue. Now that special election just turned it red again.
But let me see if I understand the question. So you're asking them if they're going to endorse any candidates, even on the local level, or are you just okay? I just want to make sure. I want to see if I understand the question.
The question, because I'm setting it up.
Okay.
My question from his point of view to ask for him is that he feels that the party system hobbles candidates. How do you see MPP getting around that? Because there's still a structure that is kind of discriminatory. And how do you see that structure of MPP not getting around that? How do you see MPP getting around the things that hobbled the Green Party?
Well, with a party, I'll say to begin with that, everybody will know when someone signs on to run as a People's Party candidate, they're going to know that candidate doesn't take corporate money. That candidate stands for the progressive issues, that I support. That candidate stands for working people. They have, they have committed to these principles, and so that's important. If you didn't have a party, and you just had like many kind of independents running, you'd have a whole lot of organizational challenges, but you also wouldn't know like who, what do these folks stand for, whereas if you sign on to this, you automatically know what people stand for, like at a baseline.
So could you support any local candidates who are running now?
We're not supporting candidates. Our organizational designation isn't meant for that right now. We're a nonprofit.
Okay.
At 27. And so, we're going to start supporting candidates like when we actually form the party structure, which is going to start to happen. We're going to go into ballot access like right after November. And we've already gotten all the rules for ballot access down. We know what they are. And a lot of people don't know that, for example, even the Green Party and the Libertarian Party, they have to get ballot access in the vast majority of states every single year. And so it's not like they retain the ballot access. They actually lose it because they don't get a high enough share of the vote in the presidential elections. And then they have to get it again. So if we're just going to have to get ballot access again, we might as well do it, in something that's new and in something that has all this kind of, that has a great sense of possibility.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, Lisa, we're not going to allow this party to repeat the same mistakes of the other parties of what they've done. What is the purpose of a party? A purpose of a party is to ensure that the people and the candidates that the people choose to represent them have all the resources, have all the training, have all the confidence they need to effectively run for office and to combat the problems of the area. That is what we are going to do. We're not going to sugarcoat this shit. We're not going to add little bells and whistles to it or try to manipulate the people that we talk to. We're going to be straight up. This is what we're doing. If you want to correct the problems in the area, be a part of this, and we'll get you everything you need to succeed. That is the purpose of this. We're not in this for anything else but to get in this fight and to win. We're not going to compromise with the enemy. We're not going to say, we need to do some type of structured agreement with. No. We're going in and we're hitting them hard. We're hitting them at all angles. And we're going to hit them with direct action. We're going to hit them with electoral politics. We're going to go to their freaking houses. We're going to go and we're going to freaking ramp up into the freaking streets. We're going to go into Congress and we're going to ensure they hear us. And they know that the people are pissed and that the people are not being represented. And they're not going to tolerate all this corruption. They're not going to tolerate the fact that these big corporations have bought out all the representation. We're going to take back our democracy and ensure we lead this country back into prosperity and hold everyone that took advantage of this situation accountable for their actions. That is the purpose of this party. This is true. This is truly a justice party. We will champion justice and ensure that we get what the people want and what they need. And that is representation in every level of government. That's what I've said on that.
Cool.
Damn right.
All right. So yeah. All right. Cool, man. That's awesome.
Excellent. So what? Basically, if someone wants to get involved, can you name some of the avenues in which they can, what they can do, and some of the avenues in which they can basically interact with you all?
Well, actually, yeah, I could speak to that right quick. One of the things that Jerry actually pointed me in the direction is like growing we talked about actually in one of our last shows, is growing your contact list. Now, people who are watching this may think that MPP is the answer, you know what I mean? Even if they don't, right, you still want to build your contact list, right, because it's going to help you to push your political ideas, right? If you find someone who says, oh, look, I want to do right now this Floyd thing's going on, you know what I mean? So someone wants to email their list, right, and they'll have a very strong political base to go forward with. But if you want to help MPP, then you can help yourself and MPP at the same time by building your list, right? That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm actually targeting and building a profile of people that would match a certain, who's likely to join a third party. Oh, people that are in Burn the DNC, people that might be in Our Revolution, people that might be Tulsi supporters, people that might be Yang supporters, people that are outside the normal establishment, even people that are right-wing. A lot of people, actually, if you watch, that show The Hill, right? With, what's her name? Crystal Ball and Sagar and Jetty. I'm a big fan of their show, honestly, by the way. I don't know if they'll ever get to see this, but I hope they do, right? But I think that a lot of right-wingers who might watch their show actually, right, with Sagar's side, would totally join the MPP, right? We're not, I don't feel, actually from the very beginning, from my intake meeting, which I attended on one of those Thursdays, they said we're not just trying to appeal to Democrats, but also Republicans as well. So the thing is that they're really focusing on all the people. It's not like, oh, since, we draw this line and you're on the other side and you're the enemy, you know what I mean? Unless you stand for corporate interests or, trying to hurt the people. But otherwise, they're very inclusive. So I'm a big fan of that. So right now, once again, grow your base, right? And go to any Facebook group, any Slack, any organization where you think, or even go to these local events like these protests right now and start getting information from people and grow that base.
Okay, so Nick and Jerry, if someone basically, how would they listen in on Thursday? What do you want people to get out of it? And where can they sign up and actually start doing things? What are the kind of things that you're looking for from people? And what are the kind of sort of talents that you need and abilities that people can be doing things for you right now that you're looking for?
Join our Thursday call and hear about the action and get ready to join the action. And so that's this Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And you can join that by go to peoplesparty.org and go to the events section.
I'm totally going to be there, man. And if you're a content producer, contact me. Get in on that call afterwards. Yeah, that panel. I think that's going to be a hot little panel to talk about third parties, MPP. I want to see all the content producers getting on. I know, honestly, Progressive Voice, I know you might be a little bit nervous about it, Come talk with us, we're not the enemy, right? Whether you believe in third parties or not, I think they're very cool. I've obviously been part of them for a long time. There's nothing wrong with being third party. There's nothing wrong with, an alternative group, right? It's kind of cool, yeah.
And Jerry, as someone on the ground, what is it that you need help with, and what is it that you're looking for when you want more supporters and more volunteers?
If you're in LA County area, you could reach out to us at ourrevolutionla.com, and you can sign up to join our group here. We have a lot of direct actions coming up. Black Lives Matters has a lot of direct actions that are coming up, more protests coming. Today we have a candlelight vigil in Pomona. That's my home city, and I'm going to be out there with our endorsed candidate, Miranda Sherfield. I won't be speaking as much, but I'll be out there with candles, and we'll be having a moment of silence for everyone that has fallen over the past years and such.
Okay.
And also, if you want to take direct action, and if you're brand new to this, yes, do get in contact with us, and I'll train you how to do so. And if you already are deep in the fight in the game and you just want some help, if you don't want to go to something alone, hit us up. We'll come with you. I know damn well I will come with you, and I'll put the rallying call out to the rest of us out here, and we'll come with you as well. So yes, that's if you need help, if you want help to do direct action, if you got direct action and you want some people on the ground with you that are doers, then yes, hit us up. We'll answer your call.
If you feel like, if you're an experienced organizer or you're a new organizer, we want everyone. And so, we're starting hubs across the country now. And Jerry and our other national organizing leaders are meeting with folks one-on-one, talking through with them what it means to start a hub. And so, if you're interested in doing that, or if you're interested, in being a member, then just sign up, and you can sign up to volunteer on our website and check the box that says you want to start a hub or join a hub in the volunteer, and that's how we'll get in touch with you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
And join our Slack too. We have several hundred people on our Slack in our working groups. Whether you want to do social media, media messaging, action, regenerative culture, another big thing that we're doing, creating this really intentional, caring community and thoughtful community. And so, any of those working groups you want to join, organizing, arts, finance, come join us. Be a part of that too. And that's also through peoplesparty.org, and go to the volunteer tab.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That was great advice.
Fantastic.
And I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. Yeah? All right, cool. I
think
just before we go, I just want to make sure that Mark's voice is heard. Can you just check through the chat, Lisa, and help me see if there's any... Oh, yeah, look, he says something now, right? Terry,
Sure.
Ed, Jerry, Nick, when you guys are organizing, can you see that chat right there? I'm not sure exactly how to
Yes.
see that.
So, hi, Ed, Jerry, Nick. When you are organizing, Google me. This live caption that is critical. It needs to be done for all events, and so you need to make sure people know that there is ASL available if they ask for it. Your group needs to budget for accommodations. So, just to not to be a commercial, but Google Meet seems to have a superior caption system, according to Mark.
Yeah, because Mark he's actually legally blind, and he's hard of hearing. But the thing is that he acquired his blindness later in life, so he's not good with sign language and things like that.
His deafness.
Yeah, his deafness.
So and his sight is limited. So this helps him. The captioning system helps a lot. And when people are speaking over themselves, speaking over each other, it actually separates it out for them. So it's not a big garble that they actually understand who's saying what through that system. So
Thank you so much.
Understood. We'll work to accommodate that.
We'll absolutely do that.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Okay, well. I guess I'm good.
Fantastic. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for coming out and joining us. We are going to get this out far and wide. Mark says great. Thank you. And we're just really happy to have had you on. We think the movement is very promising, very exciting, and we're very impressed with your leadership and also the layout and strategies that you seem to be employing. So fantastic.
Right,
Thank you for coming on.
Have a good one.
Thanks for having us.
Lisa, Ed, Mark, Sandra, amazing being with you.
Right, have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jerry. Please take
So
care
good
of yourself.
talking with you.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.